know, it's funny. We were all talking about Mayweather and Mosley, and somebody brought up the other day, what if Floyd Mayweather loses his precious zero and Mosley beats him, or Manny Pacquiao beats him? What does it matter? The greatest fight, and this was brought out by I think by Nazim Richardson, the trainer for Mosley and Hopkins. The greatest fighter in our sport of boxing of all time. I hate to say that because to me it's Muhammad Ali, but even Muhammad Ali admitted that Ray Robinson was the greatest of all time, all weight classes. I mean, Ray Robinson, when you talk about the best around pound for pound, that title was built on his name. He's the first one to do that. He lost 19 times. Now, he fought until he was in his mid-50s, but, you know, I think we got to get away from this mentality in boxing, and I think that goes back to, like, the Howard Davis, Jerry Cooney era, when guys were fighting bums on TV, and, you know, Tyson got built up fighting bums. I don't have a problem with knocking out bums, because I certainly put enough of them in front of Shannon Briggs and some of my other fighters. But being undefeated, it's not being undefeated. It's if you lost, how did you lose and who did you lose to? And look, Manny Pacquiao is the perfect example. Manny Pacquiao's had 5 fights that he didn't win, right? So 5 of his 55 fights he didn't win. 3 he lost. No contest or whatever the other one. But he got knocked out, not once, but twice. But Manny Pacquiao told me that's what made him what he is today. He was going to quit boxing. He was a young guy. He was dejected. He wasn't managed properly. He wasn't on weight. He went to Thailand. They threw him in against the killer. But well, look where Manny Pacquiao is today. He's the king of the ring. So, you know, losing, it's how you lose and who you lose to, I think.
MMA is currently banned in New York. Should they lift the ban in MMA? There's a lot of speculation there that MMA will probably bury boxing. What are your feelings on that? Because a lot of people are saying that probably boxing is on the downside. I don't personally think that, but
you know, Carlos, I respect your opinion. Certainly, you're in every big fight. You have a great website, Barriqua Boxing. Look, I was more or less as far as fights. I understand that Puerto Rico is part of the United States and Commonwealth, but I remember as a young writer, maybe your age, a little younger, I covered the great fights with Esteban de Jesus. Somebody sent me a picture the other day at the second fight. I'm in the first row press section. I didn't pay. But I was there for Esteban de Jesus, a great fighter. Now, that's another example. Who did he lose to? He lost to Roberto Duran. Hello? I mean, you know, one of my biggest regrets of that great era, and I went to all the great fights in Puerto Rico. I was there when Alexis Arguello beat Alfredo Escalera. Alfredo Escalera was a truly great fighter. Wilfredo Gomez, one of the greatest fighters, maybe one of the top 5 I've ever seen. Great puncher, Bazooka Gomez. But all these guys lose sometime. I mean, the only guy I know, Larry Holmes, didn't make it undefeated because he snubbed his toe on Michael Spinks. Look at Din Thomas. His record, he's got a few losses on his record, but I say look at the man's record. Who did he fight? Who did he lose to? And what did he do in the next fight, the fight thereafter? You know, I mean, the only guy in history that went undefeated was Rocky Marciano, and that's because he quit because he didn't have any viable opponents, 49-0. I mean, is Larry Holmes one of the greatest I've ever seen? I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I don't think that boxing, I think that boxing and MMA can coexist. I think that boxing will be finally legalized in New York. Why not?
MMA, you mean?
MMA, rather. MMA will be legalized here. Why not? We can have the same rules that they have in places like Nevada with a great commission, like they have in Texas, like they have in California. Why shouldn't we have Shine Fights come to New York with MMA events? Why shouldn't UFC come to New York? As a New Yorker, as somebody who lives in New York City and pays taxes here, I'd rather see them come to New York than go to New Jersey. And you know, it's not about, and I think Dana White realizes that. I don't know the man, must be a great man. He's from Boston originally, like me and Freddie Roach, so he is a great man. But anyway, having said that, it's not about boxing or MMA. Just like it was never about boxing. I mean, Vince McMahon's father ran wrestling for 100 years. Now Vince McMahon and his wife run wrestling. She wants to run the Senate from the United States Senate. minute. I'd like to see her go against Sarah Palin. I don't know what the princess would say, but Linda McMahon against Sarah Palin. Let's get it on. But having said it, no. I think that the war between MMA and boxing, it's over, brother, because we had 50,000 people in Cowboy Stadium on a Saturday night to see the great Manny Pacquiao against the not-so-great Joshua Clottey. The next Saturday night in Germany, you had 50,000 people to watch Klitschko fight. So, you know, I mean, boxing is bigger. I just came back from Denmark. If Kessler comes back strong, that'll help boxing there. I just was at a dinner in London with Barry McGuigan, Frank Warren, Frank Maloney. Boxing is, you know, look, boxing in England. England's one of the greatest countries in boxing. Unfortunately, the two most popular guys quit. Ricky Hatton, who got destroyed by Manny, and Joe Calzaghe, who got destroyed by Coca-Cola, I guess. But having said that, still a great fighter, Joe. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come back if he sees who. It depends on who wins that Showtime tournament. But boxing is a world sport. MMA is a world sport. It's not them or us. We can coexist. You know what Rodney King. I won't quote Don King. I'll quote Rodney King. Can't we all just get along?
You heard it here, Boricua Boxing.
Sorry? You know, I have Mayweather all day, all day. I think I got money made to pay all the way, stick and stay. In case you didn't get, that was my Floyd Sr. impression. You know, I'm the poet. I don't know it. I'm the best of the West. Listen, I wrote an article today on Examiner.com and Boxing Confidential. To me, the best show in town is the Mayweather Family Circus. You got the Black Mamba, Roger Mayweather. I don't think he ever recovered from the Chavez fight where he quit on his stool because he was no fool. But Roger was a two-time world champion and a hell of a fighter. He's a good trainer. His brother, Floyd Sr., was a good fighter, went 10 rounds with Ray Leonard, not chopped liver. And his brother was a good fighter, not a great fighter, but he's a good trainer. I've seen him work with Juan Guzman and a lot of other guys. He worked with Bad Chad Dawson for a long time, for a while. So, you know, the Mayweather Circus, it's like Barnum and Bailey, man. It's great. You know, I still think Manny Pacquiao is going to. You give Manny Pacquiao 36 minutes, Mayweather's going to be on a new radio station, KTFO.